market of social networks is a huge cemetery where those who did not withstand the competition or did not adapt to changes in trends found their rest. New social networks appear every year, offering new services, better conditions, or just a more beautiful design. Their developers create more and more perfect products, luring away customers and forcing industry veterans to retire. In today's fast-changing world, the ability to keep up with trends plays a key role. The industry is constantly expanding, attracting more and more new players. And let's be honest, that's pretty obvious. Where there's money, there's one who wants to hop on the train and get them.
I love money, but I do not have it.
And this sector of the market has a lot of money. Social networks have become an integral part of modern life. Statistics show that 46% of the world's population uses social networks, which is more than 3.5 billion people. So every second person now has an account in one of them. Just imagine how huge this market is. 3.5 billion of a potential audience and their money. Wouldn't you like to take a bite of such a delicious pie? Precisely because of this, in this segment of the market, there is simply incredible competition. Kind of a gold rush. Adapting to new trends and meeting modern user requirements is a matter of survival here. Does anyone remember Google Plus or MySpace? The answer is probably no. However, they once had millions of users. The projects were closed when a previously unknown player, which was destined to fundamentally change the game, and the very concept of the social network as a whole entered the market. Since then, Facebook has dictated trends and shaped the rules. No social network has ever been so close to a monopoly in this industry. This was not destined to happen. Now everyone can see with the naked eye that the Facebook era is gradually coming to an end, and its audience is shifting to competitors. But is it so? Will Facebook repeat the path of its predecessors? And what awaits us in the market of social networks in the future? We'll talk about all of this in today's video. So hit the like button, and let's get started. The most visited site on the internet, a breakthrough in the field of digital communications that changed the world, and the most famous and most promoted brand in modern times, Facebook has held undisputed leadership in the market for many years. Facebook allows you to upload and share photos and videos of yourself or anything you want, communicate with colleagues, friends, and relatives, view news, and even sell and buy various goods. It became something more than just a social network. Today, it is the most popular social network on the planet. More than 100 billion messages are sent through the platform every day, both for private and business purposes. All borders are erased in this virtual space. At the beginning of 2022, its monthly audience was 2.9 billion active users. For comparison, the user audience of the video hosting service YouTube is 2.6 billion users. However, the dynamics of growth are not very encouraging. While YouTube has increased its indicator by almost 0.6 billion since 2021, for Facebook, this number is only 0.1 billion. This suggests concerns about the future of the social network. Nevertheless, Facebook has already become one of the most successful projects of our time. Few companies can boast such stability. Since starting in 2012, Facebook has shown growth every quarter until September 2021. During this time, its value has increased by more than 20 times. The reason for this unprecedented growth lie on the surface. Facebook brought to the world something that had not existed before and that improved people's lives. Although there were other social networks, none of them were even close to Mark Zuckerberg's child in terms of functionality or innovation. Facebook opened the doors of social networks to businesses for the first time and completely changed all the rules of advertising. Now, to advertise a product or service on the internet, it wasn't necessary to create a website or buy airtime on television. You just need to create a Facebook account, pay a fee, and let the algorithms of the social network find an audience that will be interested in your product. It became a revelation for businesses. This method was not only cheaper, but also more efficient and therefore allowed to bring profits to a completely different level. Currently, more than 210 million companies use this platform to conduct business. For most existing social networks, Facebook became a kind of trendsetter. All further steps of the platform were copied by competitors, starting with targeted advertising and ending with a gamut of colors, as in Twitter, VKontakte, or Telegram. Facebook was the main star of the internet. As of December 2022, the market value of Facebook Inc., now Meta, amounted to $562.19 billion. For the past few years, Facebook has been one of the so-called technological Big Four corporations to set their own rules and fashion trends on the internet. Such market value is simply astronomical for an internet project, but everything is not as great as it seems at first sight. The market history of Meta shows that the company is losing, and losing a lot. As of July 2021, the company's market capitalization crossed the $1 trillion mark. Meta was in the spotlight. However, it didn't last long. Shortly after reaching a peak of $1.07 billion, the company began to lose money. It has remained in decline to this day, leaving many doubts and fears among investors and regular users. So why is this all happening? In general, there are three main points that we need to consider to answer this question: the reputational damage caused by the leakages of user data, the effectiveness of Facebook and its advertising, and the social network's compliance with the new demands and needs of society. Let's start with the most unobvious one. As we have already said, Facebook is a really popular advertising platform. It's widely used by modern companies to promote their goods and services on the internet, and there are enough people who are willing to pay their money for it. Facebook is one of the main advertising platforms in the world. There are just no problems with this. Another thing is that the convenience of ordinary users is of great concern here. Facebook exists for advertisers, and users are simply a commodity, with all the consequences therein. In recent years, all the efforts of the platform have been aimed specifically at improving conditions for businesses. They are the main source of the company's income, so the reasons for that are pretty obvious. Facebook is so used to its usual leadership that it considers tools for audience retention unnecessary and excessive. This turned out to be false. Completely. Advertising on Facebook is becoming more and more annoying and monotonous. This worsens the experience of using the social network. At the very same time, businesses are also leaving the platform little by little. The reason for this is efficiency issues and too much monetization. If you've never blogged on Facebook, ask anyone who did how many page subscribers saw their posts. There are no numbers, but tears. And we didn't even mention external views of posts, which are practically impossible to get today. Previously, it was easy to create a blog from scratch if the content was topical or viral. Now, it won't work that way. You have to pay money if you want to see any results. Without money, only the most devoted friends will see your posts, and not even every time. There's also fear in the community regarding the violation of their rights to personal space. There are legends that Facebook is already listening to users' private conversations and reading their messages. If you were wondering where you got wooden doors in your feeds without even Googling it before, don't be surprised anymore. You probably talked about them with your friends while playing Elden Ring.
My life! My life! God damn it!
If you think this is just an innocent joke, you probably haven't heard about the scandals that have haunted Facebook since 2018. It was this series of events that caused a wave of resentment among the social network community. Frankly speaking, such a situation would almost certainly have bankrupted any other platform. However, Facebook took advantage of its dominant position in the market and was able to avoid the worst outcome. However, the price was the stability of the company and the trust of the audience. In 2018, it became known that Cambridge Analytica was collecting data of millions of users using the social network. How is this even possible? Good question. The plan was truly interesting. The company collaborated with Cambridge University professor Alexander Kogan, who created a psychological test on Facebook. It was stated that the results of the test would be used for scientific purposes only and would not be shared with third parties. At the same time, the program requested and received information about the profiles of users and their friends. The collected information allowed the company to create a complete profile of each user, which indicates their beliefs, character traits, preferences, interests, and a lot more. Facebook was then accused of leaking the personal data of more than 50 million people. With so much classified information on hand, the company was able to influence political elections around the world. And this is profit, and once again, profit. This data helped to assess the political preferences of voters and influence their choice during the voting using the same Facebook advertising algorithm that we have mentioned before. Experts are sure that the company could not help but notice such massive data being collected. The rules of the company forbid any external collection of Facebook information, but they didn't recheck this particular test. Or they didn't want to. Or just turned a blind eye to the leak. We don't know and probably won't know ever for sure. There are a lot of thoughts that this situation was the turning point after which the social network would never go up again. We already mentioned the next point a little earlier. It's time to answer the question of why the growth of YouTube users is so much higher than that of Facebook. Social media audiences are constantly changing, but there's one particularly volatile factor: youth engagement. Teenagers have always been a huge part of any target audience, a battle for which Facebook seems to have lost. Although the number of active Facebook users has declined among all demographic groups, according to recent studies, the biggest drop in activity has been seen among youngsters. And do you use Facebook regularly? Let us know in the comments so that we can collect some actual statistics. Many can argue that young people are not the target group for the social network. Advertisers will be more interested in adult paying audience. However, this is a fatal mistake. Losing this age category is equivalent to losing the future of the company, because it is the youth who dictate the trends of the modern world and make up the lion's share of the audience of any social network. The use of Facebook by young people has been gradually and steadily declining since 2014. Back in 2015, it was the dominant media platform among teenagers. Now, it's on the list of apps they use the least. The reason for this is pretty obvious. Facebook lost the competition. An outdated design, an inconvenient program, a confusing system for sending messages, and a lack of easily digestible content. All of this has been killing a once promising and successful social network for years. Facebook will still be there tomorrow, don't worry, and the day after tomorrow, and even in a year or two. As statistics show, the time will not come soon when it will be possible to completely abandon the actual monopolist of the industry. This is too big of a company to fade away that fast. It'll be a slow and painful process, and Facebook will be trying to drag it out as long as possible. But there are almost no chances of recovery. Yes, this social network is still the largest and far ahead of the others, but the growth of the audience has practically stopped, and the statistics are becoming more and more disappointing. What awaits us after the almost 10-year era of Facebook? First of all, we would like to emphasize that Facebook, which is owned by Meta, is its largest project, but not the only one. Instagram, which is also owned by the company, is an extremely promising social network. Unlike its older brother, it was able to adapt to the new needs of society and provide ease of use and assimilation of content. A significantly improved mechanism for promoting accounts and advertising, which makes the platform interesting for advertisers and therefore profitable, is also worth noting. Instagram also managed to learn from Facebook's mistakes and not follow the same path. From the same period in 2014 to the present, its use among young people has increased by more than 10 points. This makes it the third largest platform in terms of the number of young audiences, and therefore a potential flagship project for Meta in the future. The year 2022 showed us that the future lies in short video content and convenient messengers, which an unknown Chinese company skillfully used. It identified modern trends and took advantage of the fall of its main competitor. TikTok has established itself as one of the most successful platforms in recent times, competing with all the big successful industry veterans. TikTok is the biggest trend of the last year, and this trend will likely continue into the future. It's increasingly improving its position in the overall rankings and has already overtaken Instagram and Snapchat in many indicators. In particular, its regular usage by young people is as much as 67%, which compared to 32% of Facebook is a huge difference. By the way, about Snapchat, it would seem that this social network, being a veteran, should repeat the fate of Facebook, but no. It will probably come as a surprise to many that Snapchat is the fastest growing social network among young people. Given that Snapchat's focus is almost entirely on youth, it makes sense that it will remain one of the leading mediums in the future. Thanks again for watching. Check out some of our other videos on our channel, and remember to like and subscribe if you like the content.